Imagine trying to serve a delicate sweet lemon tart on the exact same plate as a heavy, really pungent blue cheese.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds pretty intense.
Right. On paper, it just sounds completely chaotic. I mean, you have two distinct, incredibly dominant actors, and they're just fighting for the spotlight.
Yeah, they would totally clash.
Exactly. But in 2026, the visual equivalent of this exact pairing is completely taking over. So, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are exploring the defining aesthetic movement of the year for you. We're focusing on the absolute explosion of two very specific colors, cornflower blue and butter yellow.
It is everywhere right now.
It really is. And our mission today is to figure out why. We've got this massive trend report from the wedding planning platform Weddizer. It's literally a document titled Cornflower Blue Décor, and it details how this specific palette has become the ultimate choice for everything from bridesmaid dresses to, massive event decor.
Yeah, the data in that Weddizer report is just fascinating.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because when I first saw those two colors placed side by side on a mood board in the source material, my brain immediately went to that sweet and savory food clash. I just thought, wait, yellow and blue, are they just going to scream at each other all day?
Right. It's a completely fair assumption.
But then, when you actually look at the physical execution of it,
Yeah.
they create this effortlessly luxurious and totally timeless aesthetic. It's wild.
It really is. I mean, it sounds totally counterintuitive until you see it in practice. And to understand why it works, you really have to look beyond just the surface aesthetic.
Yeah.
This deep dive isn't just for brides or grooms planning a wedding. This is really a masterclass in color psychology, visual design, and how trends are engineered to stand the test of time.
And just so relevant to anyone, really.
Exactly. It's going to give you a completely fresh perspective on aesthetic planning, whether you're designing an event or just, curious about visual culture.
Well, I want to start exactly there, with the psychology and the mechanics of mood. Because before we look at how these colors are used, like the physical dresses or the florals, we really need to understand why they are dominating 2026.
Yeah, the emotional weight of it.
Right. So break down the emotional weight of this specific pairing for us. Because, I get that blue is a classic event color, sure. But butter yellow feels inherently risky to me.
How so?
Well, doesn't yellow traditionally signal, like, caution or high anxiety in design? I'm thinking of caution tape or traffic signs.
Oh, absolutely it can, which is exactly why this specific tone is everything here. In design, color psychology is basically this invisible hand that guides how you feel in a physical space.
Okay, so how does the blue function first?
So when you look at cornflower blue, you aren't just seeing a shade of blue. From an evolutionary standpoint, human beings associate clear, mid-tone blues with the permanence of the sky and deep water.
That makes sense. It's very natural.
Right. It represents calmness, serenity, trust, loyalty, romance, and this kind of classic elegance. Because the sky and the ocean are constants in our environment, blue brings this innate sense of sophisticated permanence to an event.
Grounds the room.
Yes, it grounds it
It
beautifully.
feels rooted, like it honors the solemnity of a major life event, like a
Yeah.
marriage ceremony, but without feeling overly heavy or dark.
Precisely. Now, contrast that with the yellow. Yellow is fire. It is the sun. It's inherently active and energetic.
Right, which goes back to that anxiety thing I mentioned.
Exactly, but by softening it into a butter shade, you remove that high visibility anxiety, the whole caution tape vibe, and you are left with pure warmth. Butter yellow symbolizes happiness, new beginnings, warmth, joy, and optimism.
Oh, I see.
What's fascinating here is how these two interact when placed side by side.
Hmm.
The cornflower blue grounds the event with a sense of serious, loyal commitment. But the butter yellow injects this light, welcoming, radiant joy.
So it's basically balancing the solemnity of a marriage with the actual celebration of a party.
Exactly. You are essentially marrying permanence with active celebration.
Wow, the colors are literally doing the emotional heavy lifting for the event. But I have to push back here for a second.
Go for it.
When I picture pastel yellow and pastel blue together, my mind instantly goes to a giant spring Easter egg basket.
Right, of course.
Like, it sounds incredibly seasonal. With pastel blue and yellow, how does a wedding avoid looking like a giant spring Easter egg basket? How does this vibe work outside of April?
That is the exact skepticism almost every designer voices before they understand how to manipulate the palette.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The secret is that cornflower and butter act as foundational neutral tones, depending entirely on the tertiary colors you introduce around them. They kind of absorb the mood of their environment.
Because they aren't hyper-saturated primary colors, they have room to breathe.
Exactly. They are very adaptable.
So how does that seasonal flexibility actually play out? Because it's clearly not just a spring trend if it's dominating the whole year.
Right. It's a year-round foundational neutral. In spring, the application is very straightforward, obviously. You pair it with fresh blooms, green gardens, tulips, daffodils, and ranunculus.
Very romantic.
Very fresh and romantic. But as you move into summer, the lighting changes. Summer applications become about vibrant outdoor contrast. Utilize floral crowns and butter yellow bouquets, and the sunlight makes the yellow pop with intense warmth.
Which makes the soft blues suddenly feel incredibly cooling in the heat.
Yes, exactly.
It's like visual air conditioning. But autumn is what really surprised me in the source data. You do not think of pastel blue and yellow for a fall aesthetic.
No, you really don't.
But the Weddizer report highlights this surprising detail. Designers are pairing cornflower blue and butter yellow with ivory, dusty sage, burnt orange, or champagne to create this sophisticated autumn vibe.
Think about the lighting in autumn, though. The sun sits lower in the sky, right? It casts that long golden hour glow. By introducing a tertiary color like burnt orange or dusty sage, you completely change the context of the pastels.
Oh, that makes sense.
The cornflower blue stops looking like a crisp spring morning and suddenly feels like an evening autumn sky right after sunset. And the butter yellow feels like harvest sunlight.
Here's where it gets really interesting. It's acting exactly like a chameleon wardrobe staple.
How so?
It reminds me of a classic, perfectly worn-in denim jacket. Like you can throw a denim jacket over a light floral summer dress and it looks perfectly in season, very breezy.
Oh, totally.
But you can also layer that exact same denim jacket under a heavy, tailored wool winter coat and it completely transforms. It adapts to the weight of whatever you surround it with.
That is a perfect analogy. And in winter, that weight is usually architectural because you're mostly indoors. The butter yellow acts as a substitute for sunlight, adding much-needed warmth to a cold room.
While the cornflower blue maintains that elegant, icy decor that matches the season without feeling, freezing.
Right, and that seasonal adaptability is exactly why Weddizer recommends it. It gives couples a unified aesthetic that flexes to its environment.
So they don't have to force a color palette that fights against the landscape outside the window.
Exactly.
Okay, so having established when to use the palette, let's shift to how it's physically applied. Specifically, let's talk about styling the wedding party. Because styling a large group of people can be a total minefield.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the hardest parts of planning.
You have different body types, vastly different skin tones. How is this palette being applied to the bridal party without looking overly uniform? Like, how do we avoid making everyone look like identical matching action figures?
Well, the primary strategy for styling the bridesmaids is abandoning the uniform entirely. It's all about mix and match. Rather than dressing everyone in the exact same shade, planners are alternating between the two colors.
Which immediately breaks up that monolithic block of color you usually see at the altar.
Right. And practically, it accommodates different skin tones so much better. A pale butter yellow might completely wash out someone with a lighter complexion, but they will look incredibly vibrant in cornflower blue.
And for the truly ambitious, the report mentioned this ombre effect happening.
Yes, the ombre effect is spectacular.
You arrange the bridesmaids so the dresses fade gradually from butter yellow tones, mixing down into soft blues. It creates a gradient for the photography.
It creates a beautiful frame. But even beyond the color mixing, they are allowing the party to wear same colors, but completely different styles.
Different silhouettes.
Exactly. So bridesmaids can dress for their body type. The data shows a huge variety: A-line dresses, satin slips, chiffon gowns, off the shoulder, flutter sleeves, halter necks.
Which is crucial because those fabrics interact with light in completely different ways. Like a matte chiffon gown is going to absorb light and look very floaty, but a sleek satin slip reflects light.
Yeah, it looks liquid and heavy.
So when you put those textures next to each other, the visual depth is massive. But what about the groom and groomsmen? Are they wearing yellow suits?
No, they're coordinating in much more subtle ways. We're seeing navy suits with butter yellow ties,
Yeah.
or light gray suits with cornflower blue pocket squares.
Oh, I like the light gray and blue.
It's very sharp. They're also doing beige suits with cornflower blue boutonnieres, which gives a very relaxed coastal feel. And even if a party opts for classic black tuxedos, they are softening that intense formality with pastel floral accents.
It stops the wedding party from looking like they're heading into a corporate board meeting.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this approach reflects a massive cultural shift. Modern 2026 aesthetics heavily prioritize personalization and visual harmony over rigid, identical styling.
It's about finding individualized comfort within a cohesive group identity.
Exactly. You're communicating, I want you to belong to this group, but I also need you to feel entirely like yourself.
I love that. Individualized comfort within a cohesive group identity. Okay, so we have the people styled. Now let's move outward from the people to the environment itself. How do you construct the entire world of the event through decor?
Through texture. That is the key.
Because if you just put flat blue and yellow everywhere, it's going to look like a corporate event with a strict two-color branding mandate, right?
Right. You avoid that trap through texture, and florals are the primary vehicle for this. The way florists are utilizing this palette is entirely based on structural contrast.
The source lists so many specific florals. It says they're using white and yellow roses, delphiniums, hydrangeas, blue thistles.
Yes, and chamomile, baby's breath, peonies, lisianthus, and cosmos.
It's a huge variety, but it's not a random assortment, is it?
No, it's highly engineered. They are using soft, voluminous flowers like hydrangeas and peonies to create a pillowy, soft canvas. And then they pierce that softness with the